From the National Weather Service, this is Jonathan Blaze with our weekly weather briefing for Central North Carolina for this week through Sunday. We're going to go ahead and just jump right into it because we do have a little bit of wintry weather outside. As of this moment, we still have winter weather advisories in effect for 3 counties in our area. That includes Forsyth, Guilford, and Pershing counties. There are also advisories up just adjacent to those locations up north and west in the Blacksburg and Greenville-Spartanburg's forecast area. The winter weather advisory is in effect till 1, and it'll likely be allowed to expire by 1 p.m. And the reason we got winter weather advisory in effect is we have some precipitation that continues to spread in patches and areas across our region. And locations north and west of Interstate 85 today have had temperatures in the upper 20s and lower 30s. And so some of that precipitation has fallen as freezing rain. It hasn't been terribly widespread or terribly impactful in terms of we're getting reports of tree limbs coming down or power outages. However, we have had numerous reports of a glaze to perhaps 500s, maybe a little bit more of ice, mainly on elevated trees, elevated surfaces, high tree branches, bushes, things like that. Also, we have had some reports of some ice on bridges and overpasses in some of the areas. The important thing is to note is that temperatures have risen a bit during the past few hours, which was as expected. And in most locations in the Triad area, they're hovering right at freezing. And even a couple things to point out, though, even though the temperature may be 32 degrees and we're getting precipitation falling, not all of that precipitation falling is freezing or turning into freezing rain. Keep in mind that 32 degrees is also the melting temperature. And as we approach midday, even though it's cloudy, we do get some energy and radiation from the sun. So that's likely helping mitigate any additional icing. So the good news here is that conditions are probably as bad as they will be in these locations, and an improving trend will continue. Note, though, that temperatures in the Triad are not likely to get real warm today, probably peak out in the mid-30s. And elsewhere across North Carolina, we're going to be in central North Carolina, we're going to be in the upper 30s, lower 40s for most of the day, with periods of rain continuing. The future for the next few hours will look a little bit like this, with the light freezing rain that was occurring earlier this morning at 8, 9, 10 a.m. in the Triad. Really by midday, we'll be just down to a few pockets in some of the colder, more sheltered locations. And then certainly I would think by 1 or 2 o'clock, everybody will be 32 or 33 or warmer. And the precipitation falling will just be as rain, and any ice that was accumulated earlier today will likely begin coming down off the branches and bushes and things like that. So good news in that the conditions continue to improve, and by early this afternoon, that should be over with us. The rainfall, though, that we're experiencing in the rest of the area will continue, and by early evening, we expect pretty much all the rain to be tapering off. Certainly by mid-evening, it should be over, and we may have a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain in some spots. So another good rain for the ground and water users and the like. So that's another good bit of news for some drought relief. So looking at the weather pattern for the rest of the week, our coastal low that is producing the precipitation today will begin moving out to sea this evening and race out to sea tonight. In its wake, a cooler and drier higher pressure will build in. And as it does, we'll get some clearing skies tonight, especially late in the overnight. And temperatures will fall back below freezing across the Piedmont, especially in areas today that had the freezing rain. So there is a little bit of concern of some black ice on Tuesday morning as skies clear and temperatures fall close to 30. So in the Triad, up near the Virginia border, mainly northwest of Raleigh, especially in the Triad, there is a potential for a little bit of black ice late tonight and first thing on Tuesday morning. We'll continue to refine that forecast and share some information on that later today. After that, we expect generally fair and quiet weather really for Tuesday through Friday and even into Saturday. We will have a dry frontal passage come through, but really the big story is moderating temperatures and temperatures getting above normal. And we'll have highs, in the upper 50s, lower 60s for much of the week, and perhaps well into the 60s as we head into Friday and Saturday. So that will be welcome, I think, by many people. We do have a strong front that will be coming through late Saturday and early Sunday. There'll be an Arctic air mass behind that front, so we'll turn colder for Sunday and into Monday of next week. And as that front moves off the coast, there are some indications that yet another weekend coastal storm system may develop. Not clear exactly on location, intensity, track, and those kind of details. And those will all be very important details in terms of what kind of weather we will experience. But something to keep in mind that there's a chance for late in the weekend, Sunday into Monday, another storm system along the coast, and we'll have plenty of time to monitor that. In terms of precipitation, after today's ½ inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch of rainfall, will be dry for the rest of the work week. The greatest rainfall amounts will be mainly in the coastal plain and the eastern Piedmont, with lesser amounts of liquid equivalent in the triad areas, but still most everybody should get at least a ½ inch, we believe. And then this weekend, we have a smattering of precipitation hinted right at the coast and then offshore. Again, this is with the coastal system that we'll just have to keep an eye on and monitor. With the weather pattern as it is, we don't have any thunderstorms in the forecast for the work week, so no concerns there. Also, no excessive rain expected. No surprise at that. So that's not a concern for us. And looking at the drought, last week's drought analysis is on the left-hand side of the screen, and this week's, or the most recent one, is on the right. And for those of us in central North Carolina, there was very little, if any, change. There was some expansion of abnormally dry out in the mountains, but for most of us, this has been steady, and we would expect it probably to continue as it is in central North Carolina. Perhaps some minor improvement with rainfall today, perhaps helping a little bit, but we're in the right direction in terms of drought concerns. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, and this takes us from around Valentine's Day into the third week of the month. Temperatures during that period will likely average near normal, but it's quite possible we'll have a period of warmth followed by some cooling temperatures. So all in all, they'll average near normal. And the same kind of thing for precipitation. We will have likely a precipitation event threaten us this weekend, and then another one threaten us potentially the following weekend. So we'll have episodic periods of rain perhaps as we head into the third week of February. And so looking at the weather summary and highlights today's storm system will exit this evening. We expect fair weather and a warming trend for Tuesday and into Saturday. A strong front moves through the area late Saturday and potentially Sunday, and turning colder for Sunday behind that as Arctic air moves into the region. We'll need to monitor for low pressure to develop on the front somewhere off the coast on Sunday. A lot of uncertainty with that, but that's something we'll need to monitor. In terms of specific hazards, we have the freezing rain accumulation to triad is winding down. And so really what you have now is probably as greatest extent of the icing that you should experience. So that's some good news as temperatures both climb above freezing later this afternoon, and the sunlight continues to do its work and improve conditions there. Could be again some black ice Tuesday morning, mainly in the same locations that had some wintry weather this morning. So again, we're talking mainly Interstate 85 north and west. And we'll need to keep an eye out for potential for a storm system to develop near the coast on Sunday. And then our simulated or our forecast here for the Raleigh area is shown below. That again, it shows the warming trend, especially Wednesday into the first part of the weekend. So that's it for our weekly briefing. I hope everyone has a good week. I'll stand by for some questions here for the next few moments. And otherwise, hope you enjoy the improving conditions this week and what should be a fairly nice week weather-wise as we head into the weekend.